We say we choose. We say we're responsible. But what if that's just a myth? Free will, moral responsibility, two of the most praised and most dangerous ideas in Western civilization. In this episode, we'll unravel what Nietzsche called the fable of responsibility, explore Camus's absurd freedom, and confront the Bible's unsettling clarity on divine sovereignty and human agency. Let's begin. Nietzsche was brutal in his critique of morality. In Twilight of the Idols, he called moral responsibility a fabrication, a clever trick to bind strong individuals to society's rules. To him, morality wasn't divine. It was a herd invention. We punish not because people deserve it, but because we need to blame. It maintains order. Here's the twist. If everything about you, your genetics, your upbringing, your trauma, is shaped by forces you didn't choose, then what exactly are you responsible for? Kafka took this further. In the trial, Joseph K. is arrested and prosecuted by a mysterious court for an unknown crime. No explanation, no justice, just endless absurdity. Sound familiar? It's what happens when responsibility is assumed, but the rules are hidden. The real question isn't whether we choose, but whether we ever could. Now let's go to scripture. In Proverbs 16 verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. And Romans 9 is even more direct. Paul says, it does not, therefore, depend on human desire or effort, but on God's mercy. This isn't Calvinism. This is just the text. The Bible presents a paradox. Humans are free, yet God is sovereign. We're accountable, but our paths are known from the beginning. How do we reconcile that? By realizing that biblical freedom isn't about unlimited choice, and that can't happen without grace. Camus said life is absurd. We crave meaning. The universe answers with silence. In the myth of Sisyphus, he imagines Sisyphus endlessly pushing a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down, forever. That's life without clear meaning or divine anchor. But Camus doesn't despair. He says, we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because when we embrace the absurd, we gain true freedom. Freedom from illusions. Freedom from false morality. Freedom to revolt, not in rebellion, but in clarity. But here's where Camus stops, and the Bible continues. The Bible ends in surrender to a God who enters absurdity himself. The cross is the most absurd symbol in human history. A sinless man dies a criminal's death. Justice is perverted, the innocent condemned. Nietzsche would call it slave morality. Camus might call it tragic, but the Bible calls it redemption. Jesus doesn't deny absurdity. He walks straight into it. In Gethsemane, he says, not my will, but yours be done. The perfect surrender of human will to divine sovereignty. If Christ, the freest man, submits, then maybe freedom isn't power. Maybe it's trust. So do we have free will? Yes, but not as the world defines it. We have the power to align, to choose love over fear, to take responsibility not as guilt, but as responsibility, the ability to respond. Nietzsche was right to tear down false morality. Camus was right to confront absurdity. But scripture gives us something more. Hope, purpose, and a kind of freedom that isn't trapped by ego. In the end, your will isn't sovereign, but it is sacred, because it can say, like Christ did, your will be done. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe. We make philosophy for everyone. See you next time.